Hello, this is David Taylor. I'm the Director of Web Media in Chester, and this is part 2 in a series 18 ways to improve your ranking on Google. So you can see a link in the description below this video to the first video, part 1. And in this part we're going to go through another 5 actions that you can be taking to improve your organic ranking on Google search results. So let's have a look at number 6. So fundamentally, if you want your website to rank as one of the top 10 organic places on Google, you have to make it one of the best 10 websites for your target keyword on the web. Now this might sound a very obvious thing to say, but actually it's quite often overlooked by people. And it's a good discipline to take a moment to first of all look at the 10 websites that are already on Google page 1 for the target keyword phrase that you want to rank highly for, and we talked about that in the last video. But take a look in some depth at each one of those 10 websites, because Google has determined, for whatever reason, and there are many reasons Google determines a website, but Google has determined that for whatever reasons it considers those 10 websites to be the most appropriate, authoritative and relevant websites for the target phrase that you are trying to rank for. So you have to ask yourself the question, how do these 10 websites come to be in the top 10 and my website is not in the top 10? And I can almost guarantee that you will find a whole series of reasons why those websites are in the top 10. Some of them you won't be able to do anything about, such as how long the domain name has been active, the website has been online, and so on. You may also not be able to do anything about some of the backlinks or the number of backlinks that a website has, and that is an important factor on why it's in the top 10. But you will be able to look at the way that those websites structure their content, what content they have, how they structure it through the pages, how much content is on each page, and fundamentally you have to understand that your website has to be one of the 10 best for whatever phrase you happen to be searching for. And last time we were talking about the phrase antique furniture restoration Chester. So if that is your target phrase, look at the top 10 sites that rank for that phrase and make your website as good or better than those for any consumer that is looking online or searching online for that phrase. Okay, number 7, develop a content strategy around your keyword. And I've put in brackets original content. So what I mean by this is, and I talked about this a bit in the last video, whatever your target phrase is, your primary target phrase, and let's say it's antique furniture restoration Chester, you pin that up, you write it on a big piece of paper, you pin it up in your office or over your computer, and you look at it every day. And what your purpose, your goal, is to become the master of that phrase online, so that when people think about that phrase, they automatically think of you and your business. And how do you do that? Well, you do it in one way, by developing a content strategy. And what that means is that you actually plan how you are going to write and create original content, and it doesn't have to be written content, but it can be. It can be blog posts. It can also be video, extremely popular now, the amount of video content that is on the web. I'm sure you probably know that already. Sites like Pinterest, where you can post images and tag them sites like LinkedIn if you've got a business to business kind of scenario and you sell to other businesses. So you want to be thinking about all these opportunities. MailChimp is a platform for email marketing, and you certainly want to be building up a database of email addresses for people who would be interested in what you've got to say. But whatever is your subject of expertise, and that's what you do as a business, then you want to plan, not just come up, think about it, once a fortnight, but plan on paper how you're going to create content, what content you're going to create, and where you're going to post that content. And that needs to be done consistently. That means you don't just do it once and then your audience hears nothing from you for the next 6 months. It also needs to be consistent in tone, which means that you focus on your target keyword and you talk about that. So in the case of antique furniture restoration, that's your expertise, that's your target phrase. You talk about issues to do with that. You don't suddenly go off topic and start talking about the football match that you saw on Saturday. That's going to confuse your audience and you're going to lose people's interest. You have to stick to your expertise and the phrase that you've targeted, consistently talking about issues of interest around antique furniture restoration. Okay. Why does that improve your ranking on Google? Because Google looks at a whole range of measures to authenticate you and your expertise in your field, and then it applies that credibility, that authority, that leadership, and that expertise. It applies that in the terms of a weighting to the way that it indexes and ranks your website organically. So number 8, add Google Analytics to your website and learn how to interpret the data to improve user experience. Now, again, if you don't know what Google Analytics is, there are lots of videos ranging from absolute beginner to advanced on YouTube that you can take a look at. It's a free piece of software that you can add or attach to your website that gives you all sorts of information that's very useful, like where your traffic comes from, how many users you have on your website, over what period of days, weeks or months, new visitors versus return visitors, how many people come just to one page and then leave, how they flow through your site from page to page, the average time on your site, the average number of pages viewed. These are all incredibly important pieces of market intelligence that tell you how visitors are reacting to your site. Now, why is this relevant? Well, it's relevant because Google Analytics or Google the search engine will be aware of how people use your website and how they consider it in terms of user experience, how good the content is, and things like that. And Google will look at how long people spend on your site, how many pages they look at, and a number of other factors to determine whether Google thinks that your website is what your consumers or your audience is looking for. And therefore, the more traffic that you can get to your website, and the longer you can keep them on there, the more pages that you can get them to look at. All of those things are measurements that contribute to how Google considers your website to be one of the best 10 websites when it comes to your phrase, antique furniture restoration Chester. And that's why Google Analytics is important. So how do you use it? Well, what you do is that you install it, you give it a couple of weeks to start gathering data on people coming to your website, and then you start to look at some of the trends that people have. Like, for example, the pages that most people look at when they come to your website. And if you find that, as well as the home page, people are looking at one or two pages on your site more than any other, then you know that that's what your audience is particularly interested in, and you can start to develop those one or two pages to be the best they can possibly be. So you focus on those pages, and you improve the content on those pages, and you make it even better. And then you measure how much time people spent on those pages or on your site. And what you want to see is that over the course of 6 months, 8 months, a year, the amount of time that people spend on your site gradually improves. And that's telling you that people are having a better experience on your site. And therefore, you are adapting your site to be even better for the market that you're trying to serve. It's really quite a simple idea, but you'd be amazed how many people don't have Google Analytics attached to their site and don't understand how to interpret the data and what it means. So I would definitely recommend that as action 8. So let's look at action 9. This is a pretty straightforward one. Set up a Google My Business profile and get it verified. So what you can see on the screen on the right there is our Google My Business profile, and there's a few things that you can see just looking down it. First of all, we've got some photos and a map at the top, so that's useful if people want to be seeing where you are and how to get to you. Then we've got under the name, we've got a link to our website, so that's useful. Then we've also got the number of reviews on Google, and you can see there are 20, and what the average review score is, 4.8 out of 5 in this case. You can see our address and contact details, our opening times, and then a summary of reviews, some of the reviews, and you can click through to all of the reviews from there. So this is very useful. If somebody searches for Web Media Chester, this will come up on the search results page, this profile from Google My Business. It's free of charge, and it not only does it help get traffic to your site and improve your general promotion and visibility online, but it also helps boost your organic ranking on Google. Why? Because one of the things you need to do with this is verify, and the more times you verify your address, your business name, your contact details with Google, the more it trusts you, and the more it trusts you, the higher it will rank you on search results. That's one reason. There's another reason, and the other reason is the reviews. Now, I've worked quite hard to get, now I think we've got 28 reviews, which is far more than any other web design company in Chester. 28 reviews on Google. So, I've worked hard to ask customers if they would leave a review, and these are busy people, so it's not always easy. But yeah, 28 reviews. So again, what we're doing is we're reinforcing with Google our credibility as a business, the amount of time that we've been around, and that we've got a lot of happy customers. And all of those things really contribute to our reputation with Google, and Google will rank us better as a result of that. So here's the last one in this video, and this is actually number 10. Just make a small amendment there. Okay. So this is number 10. Set up Google Search Console to ensure Google has no issues with your website. So one of the reasons that you can lose brownie points and lose ranking with Google is if there are errors on your website. Errors like crawl errors. So when Google comes to crawl your website, it has some difficulties in crawling the pages with its spiders. And what that means is difficulty reading the code on your pages. Same with HTML errors. It means there's mistakes in the coding or the write-up. Links to your site, it'll also tell you on Google Search Console. Search queries. Index status means how many pages are indexed and whether there are any security issues. So this is primarily what I'm saying here is this is about ensuring that there are no errors that Google is finding when it crawls your site, because if it finds errors, it's going to downgrade you and downgrade your ranking. It doesn't like errors on websites. Now again, you can find more online on YouTube or on a search, more information about Google Search Console. Again, it's a free tool from Google, very, very useful in this context for ensuring that that Google is finding no problems crawling your site and indexing your site. So if you iron that out, that's one less thing again that you're going to have to worry about in terms of getting your site ranked better. So there we are. We've got 5 more actions today in this video, and if we just go through them again. So the first one was about reviewing, let's just move that, reviewing the websites that are in the top 10 for your target keyword, and how can you make your website better than one of theirs or all of theirs. Number 7 was developing a content strategy around your keyword phrase. Number 8 was using Google Analytics to understand better how people use your site and what they like. Number 9 was setting up a Google My Business profile. And number 10 was using Google Search Console to ensure Google is not finding any errors when it crawls and indexes your site. That's it for this video. I'll be back with part 3 and another 5 actions that you can take to improve your ranking on Google. Until then, thanks for watching, and I will see you soon.